I woke up in a world run by women. My mother is a decorated general, but her success made her a threat. The queen, they said, suspected her of treason. To ensure our family's loyalty, I was the one sent to the sovereign house as a political ward. The day of the selection, the tyrannical queen sat on her throne, deciding fates on a whim. I despise the color sky blue, she announced, her voice echoing in the cavernous hall. Execute every candidate wearing a sky blue tunic today. I risked a glance around. Every single one of us was in sky blue. This psycho queen, I thought, my heart hammering against my ribs. Just as advertised. Volatile and treats lives like they're disposable. A split second later, her sharp, cold eyes locked onto mine. What did you just say? She stood, a terrifying silhouette against the light pouring through the high windows. I was frozen to the marble floor, barely able to breathe. Your Majesty, I didn't say a word. What's her problem? I didn't even open my mouth. The silence in the hall became heavy, suffocating. The attendants dropped to their knees in a wave of rustling silk. Just as I was mentally writing my own eulogy, the queen descended from the dais and knelt before me. Her fingers clamped around my jaw, forcing my head up to meet her gaze. A stunningly beautiful face filled my vision. Her eyes were like deep pools of water, shimmering with an intense light. She's gorgeous. Who the hell started the rumor that she was old and ugly? They were obviously just jealous. She studied me for a long moment. Her eyes flickered to the scarlet mole on my right earlobe, and then, impossibly, a smile touched her lips. You, she said, her voice a low purr. You please me. You will be my prince consort. And just like that, I became the queen's one and only. The other wards? They were all executed. In a vast royal wing, it was just me and the regent. The regent, the queen's adoptive father, was a quiet man who kept to his residence in the serene wing. He didn't like to be disturbed and excused me from the formality of morning greetings. So my days became a dream. I'd sleep in until noon, wake up, and order whatever I wanted to eat. A staff of 18 attendants waited on me hand and foot. I didn't even have to pull down my own pants to take a piss. It was infinitely better than my old life as a corporate drone. I've been reborn into this world. You see, in my previous life, I'd worked myself to death on my desk and woke up here, the illegitimate son of General White. I figured the universe was finally cutting me a break. Then, that night, the queen came to my chambers, ostensibly to be attended to. Is this really happening? I shot to my feet, a thrill running through me. I put on my best shy act. Your Majesty, allow me to help you with your robes. She dodged my hands with a quick step back and called to her chief aide outside the door. Ms. Wallace, bring the items in. Ms. Wallace and 2 other attendants entered, their arms laden with fountain pens, inkwells, and a mountain of state papers. They set everything down on my large mahogany desk, bowed, and closed the doors behind them. The night is young, the queen said coolly. No need to rush to bed. I have some briefings to get through. Would you prefer to fill my pens, Prince Consort, or would you prefer a much longer rest? It is my honor to serve your Majesty. I chirped, practically skipping over to the desk. An hour later, my smile was gone, replaced by a storm of resentment brewing in my mind. My hand is cramping. She hasn't let me take a single break. Even a beast of burden gets a water break. I swear, tomorrow I'll hang myself in the doorframe and come back to haunt her. The queen paused her writing and rubbed her stomach. I'm a bit hungry, she said. Ms. Wallace, have dinner sent in. Soon, the state papers were replaced by an elaborate dinner spread. I dug in without a word, ignoring the queen beside me. After all that work, why should I wait on her? Suddenly, her hand reached out, her thumb gently wiping a crumb from the corner of my mouth. Slow down, she murmured. It's not your last meal. Her cool fingertips brushed against my neck as she drew her hand away, like the flick of a snake's tail. I was pretty sure she was still thinking about killing me. That just made me eat faster. I wasn't about to die on an empty stomach. After I'd eaten my fill, the queen gave me permission to go to bed. Ich blinkte her. Aren't you joining me, Your Majesty? Would you rather continue filling pens? I scrambled into bed and shut my eyes so fast I think I pulled a muscle. I meant to just fake it, but before I knew it, I was sound asleep. I have no idea when she left. But one thing was certain. The woman was nuts. For 7 straight nights, She came to my chambers to do her paperwork. The rumor mill went into overdrive. I was the queen's favored one, destined to give her an heir and become the king consort. I scoffed internally. My wrist was about to snap in two. You want this favor? You can have it. This queen must not be into men. That's why she holes up in my room every night, to keep up appearances. It explains why I'm the only consort here. It's easier to keep the secret with fewer people around. Snap! What was that noise? I looked over. The queen abruptly stood, her sleeve falling to cover the fountain pen. She just snapped in two. She shot me a look that could freeze fire, then summon Ms. Wallace to clear away the documents and left without another word, her face a thundercloud. See? Told you she was nuts. The good news, no more filling pens. The bad news, the queen dragged me to a state dinner, holding my hand and seating me beside her on the dais, under the scrutiny of hundreds of pairs of eyes. I shifted uncomfortably and leaned in to whisper to her, Your Majesty, perhaps I should sit with the other guests. Does my prince consort not enjoy my company? She whispered back, her lips brushing my ear. The hand on my shoulder moved to the back of my neck, kneading the tense muscle there, a subtle reminder that she could snap it with a twitch of her fingers. I immediately pressed closer to her side. Your Majesty is captivating. How could I not enjoy your company? Damn, the queen has a tiny waist. She stiffened for a second, then reached for a bowl of grapes on the table. Peel them. Feed me. I reluctantly pulled my hand away from her waist and did as she asked. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my mother and brother at the head table below. My mother, General White, watched us with a look of smug satisfaction. My brother, Ethan, was practically radiating jealousy. I knew he was regretting his choice. The spot in the palace was originally meant for him. My mother only had 2 sons, Ethan and me. I was born out of wedlock, so my status was nothing compared to his. Our father died when we were young, and Ethan made my life a living hell, framing me for stealing his things, finding new and creative ways to make our mother hate me. I was treated worse than a servant in that house. I was constantly hungry, living in the coldest, most remote wing of the estate, completely ignored. Then, 2 weeks ago, word came from the sovereign house. The new queen suspected our mother of treason. Terrified, my mother decided to offer a son as a political ward to prove her loyalty. But Queen Catherine had only been on the throne for 3 months and already had a body count in the thousands. The reasons for her executions were bizarre. I don't like your face. Your suit is ugly. Your tone of voice displeases me. You entered the room with your left foot first. Rumor had it she was a monster who feasted on human hearts. A complete tyrant. Ethan, a coward to his core, wanted no part of it. So he remembered me. That day, they gave me the first full meal I'd had since I arrived in this world. A steak and 2 baked potatoes in exchange for my volunteering to go to the palace. In Colombia, illegitimate sons were little more than property, destined to be married off into some political alliance. I figured if I was going to be a pawn, I might as well be a pawn in the biggest game there was. And now here I was. My mother and brother had to look up to me. They couldn't starve me. They couldn't disrespect me. A sharp cry pulled me from my thoughts. Assassin, protect the queen. A sword sliced through the air, aimed directly for the dais. My body moved faster than my brain. I shoved Catherine, pushing her directly into the blade's path. Her eyes widened in disbelief, her dark pupils reflecting my own pale, horrified face. Well, that's it. My life is over. Your Majesty, don't you die on me. I wailed, throwing myself on top of her. I can't live without you. If you die, I'm ramming my head into the nearest pillar. We can be ghosts together. I can't handle the punishment for killing a queen. I howled dramatically. Catherine let out a muffled groan from underneath me. A tiny, almost imperceptible smile touched her lips, a flicker of wry amusement. If you don't get off me, Prince Consort, she rasped, I will be crushed to death. She was unharmed. A silk-lined Kevlar vest had stopped the blade. Not only did she kill the assassin on the spot, but she captured the mastermind behind the plot. Duchess Rhodes, the previous queen's sister, Catherine's aunt. Aunt, Catherine said, her voice dangerously calm. You watch me grow up. How could you try to kill me? Since you took the throne, you've butchered half the old guard. The blood you've spilled could fill a river. You're a cruel, heartless tyrant. You don't deserve to rule. Killing you is a service to this country, the Duchess shouted, righteously indignant. The next second, Catherine's sword was through her chest. Your voice was getting loud, Aunt. It was bothering me. The hall fell, deathly silent. Catherine slowly pulled her blood-soaked sword free and walked back towards me on the dais. Prince Consort, do you know the penalty for regicide? The tip of her sword scraped along the marble floor with a high-pitched shriek. I trembled, falling to my knees. De-drawn and quartered, Your Majesty. I wasn't thinking straight when I pushed you. Hush. She placed a finger on my lips, then gently took my hand and pulled me to my feet. You did very well. Your life is more important than mine. If we are ever in danger again, you are to do the same thing. I felt goosebumps crawl on my arms. Your Majesty, please be normal. This is terrifying. Just stab me a little. It will be less scary than this. She didn't touch a hair on my head. Instead, she publicly promoted me to royal consort and announced I would be moving into the Meridian Hall to live with her. Catherine had problems. Big ones. But now everyone knew just how much the Queen adored me. Enough to put her own life on the line. This development earned me a summons from the regent. It was my first time meeting him. He was over 40 but looked vibrant, dressed in a sky blue suit, regarding me with a gentle, scholarly air. You truly are a fascinating young man. I see why Her Majesty is so taken with you. He paused, but you know her temperament better than I do. One day, she will grow tired of you, and she will kill you. A man must always have a backup plan. I got the message. He was trying to recruit me. What would you have me do, sir? You are a clever boy. The regent produced a small vial from his sleeve and set it on the table. This is called 7 stars. Colorless, odorless, dissolves instantly in water. 8 consecutive days of use, and death is certain. You live with her now. You're in the perfect position. His voice dropped. Caleb, I hope you will do what's best for the people of Columbia and secure for us a benevolent ruler. I lowered my eyes, saying nothing. The thing was, the people of Columbia love Catherine. The old guard called her a vicious tyrant because the first thing she did upon taking the throne was purge the corrupt officials. Those thousands who died? They were leeches who had been sucking the lifeblood out of the country for decades. By eliminating them and cutting taxes, she had improved the lives of ordinary people in less than 6 months. I'd seen it myself on my supervised trips into the city. And in the half-month I'd been at the Sovereign House, I saw the staff eating well, with meat and vegetables at every meal, living in their own private quarters. They could even take leave every few days to visit their families. Catherine had abolished 1,000 tedious, archaic rules, giving them freedom and security. They didn't fear her. They respected her. As for those candidates in the sky blue tunics, they weren't dead. They were living comfortably in the annex, well-fed political bargaining chips. Other than not being able to leave, all their needs were met. I passed by once, and one of them cheerfully asked me if I wanted to join their poker game. Catherine wasn't the monster they said she was. Seeing my silence, the regent's face hardened. Does this mean you are unwilling to save Columbia from this tyrant? I reached out, took the vial, and bowed my head. I will not fail in my duty. His smile returned. He gave me a heavy signet ring as a reward. I put on the ring, walked out of the serene wing, and went straight to the sovereign study. I put the vial and the ring on her desk. Your Majesty, I'm here to report the regent for treason. He wants me to poison you. I didn't understand all the political games, but I knew which horse to back. The regent was powerful, but he was no match for a queen who had clawed her way to the top. Catherine stared for a moment, then let out a low, dark chuckle. She reached over and brushed a piece of paper off her desk. On it, I saw her handwriting. Caleb meeting with the regent. Kill him? Caleb, she said, her eyes sparkling. You never cease to surprise me. The moonlight was cool and bright. For the first time, Catherine didn't make me work. She dismissed her attendants, and we drank together in the courtyard of the Meridian Hall. Do you know why I hate the color sky blue? She asked softly. Because it's the regent's favorite. I'd heard whispers of the palace's secrets. The regent wasn't Catherine's biological father. Her real father died shortly after she was born, and the late queen had her raised by the regent, who was childless at the time. But a year later, the regent and the late queen had a daughter of their own. That was when Catherine's life became a nightmare. The regent, fearing Catherine would one day compete with his daughter for the throne, did everything he could to break her spirit. He forced her to eat his daughter's leftovers, to kneel and be a footstool for her, to endure her beatings and insults. He wanted Catherine to know that no matter how high she climbed, she would always be beneath his daughter's feet. She would always be his daughter's dog. But out of all the royal children, only Catherine had the ambition. She endured the humiliation, and she took the throne. The regent panicked. To save his own skin, he killed his own daughter as a show of loyalty to Catherine. Then he used his position as her foster father to guilt her, to rally the old guard, and to force her to name him regent. From that day on, they were enemies. The sky blue tunics the candidates wore on selection day. The regent had arranged it all. He wanted to provoke Catherine into a public massacre, cementing her reputation as a tyrant. His new strategy was simple. If you can't kill her, ruin her. Catherine seemed a little drunk now, her head resting on my shoulder. The regent wanted my throne. He was even working with Duchess Rhodes. But the Duchess was reckless and ruined his assassination plot. So he turned his attention to you. Now that you've told me about the poison, he will surely try to retaliate. She looked at me. Caleb, do you trust me to protect you? I nodded. Catherine watched me for a long moment. I won't let anything happen to you, she whispered. Caleb. It was the first time she had used my name. It sounded warm, strangely intimate. I didn't have to wait long for the regent's retaliation, but it didn't come in the way I expected. It came in the form of my brother, Ethan. He plopped himself down in a chair in my chambers, looking at me with pure arrogance. You have 3 days, he ordered. Find a way to get the queen to sleep with me. I rolled my eyes. You can't be ugly and delusional, Ethan. The queen does what she wants, with who she wants. I don't control her. Who says the prince consort has no influence? Catherine swept into the room. Ethan jumped to his feet, bowing and giving her his slimiest smile. Your Majesty, Ethan White, at your service. I know who you are. The prince consort's brother. Catherine came and sat beside me, feigning displeasure. Your brother wants to join the court, Caleb. How can you refuse to help him? We'll make him your personal attendant. He can serve your meals and wait on you. Ethan's jaw dropped. I was a little stunned myself, until I felt Catherine's warm breath against my ear. Teach him a lesson, she murmured, her voice a ghost of a sound. If he ends up dead, I'll take the blame. Oh, this is too good. I had a fight to keep from grinning. As soon as Catherine left, I lounged back in my chair. Ethan, darling, come give your prince consort a leg rub. On your knees, please. And don't look up. I find your face unpleasant. Caleb, he snarled. Smack. An attendant slapped him hard across the face. Insolence. You will refer to the royal consort by his proper title, she snapped. Serve him well, or I will fetch her majesty myself to deal with you. Ethan, seething, knelt and did as he was told. Not hard enough, I sighed. Ugh, forget it. Go get me some tea. TCH, this is scalding. Smack. The attendant hit him again, right on cue. Are you trying to harm the royal consort? No. Smack. How dare you refer to yourself as I in his presence? This servant, is new to this. I'm not used to it. This servant will get a fresh cup immediately. As Ethan leaned in with the tea, he hissed, Don't push it, Caleb. I raised an eyebrow. Isn't this exactly how you used to treat me? Making me give you massages, fetch your drinks, acting like I was your slave? You'd slap me and say you were training me to be a better in-law someday. Funny how you don't seem to enjoy it when the roles are reversed, brother. That was oof. I punched him, sending him sprawling to the floor. I looked down on him, mimicking the contempt he'd always shown me. You will refer to yourself, I said coolly, as this pathetic mutt. Within a week, Ethan was a shadow of his former self, his face a constant patchwork of bruises. But he still hadn't given up on the queen. He threw himself at Catherine's feet in front of me, tears welling in his eyes. Your Majesty, I beg you, you must help me. The royal consort. He beats me. He tortures me. Catherine cut him off with a wave of her hand. That's what I like about him. You may suffer a little, but he gets to be happy. As his brother, shouldn't that make you happy too? Ethan stared dumbfounded. I'm pretty sure he was thinking what I often thought. This woman is insane. Please, Your Majesty, send me home. I miss my mother. Granted, Catherine said, then looked at me. The royal consort hasn't been back to the White Estate in some time. I'll accompany you for a visit. I had a bad feeling about this. Sure enough, Catherine brought an escort of several thousand sovereign guards. The procession was so massive, you'd think she was going to level the entire estate. The moment my mother saw her, she fell to her knees. General White greets your majesty. To what do we owe the honor of this? Military escort. Catherine slipped an arm around my waist and waved her other hand. The guards shoved Ethan forward. General, the queen said, her voice like velvet-wrapped steel. I have two of your sons. Which one do you want? My mother, Ethan, and I were all speechless. What the hell was she playing at? Unsure of her motives, my mother chose her words carefully. Caleb and Ethan are both my sons, your majesty. Naturally, I want them both. Since you can't choose, I'll choose for you. From this day forward, Caleb is my prince consort, and mine alone. He no longer has any connection to the House of White. Your majesty, to question my decree is treason. The penalty is death. Those words silenced my mother. No, General White, completely. The guards returned Ethan to her. I was led, dazed, back to the royal motorcade. Why would you sever my connection to my family? I asked as we drove away. Catherine idly played with my fingers. General White has been meeting with the regent. I was afraid you'd get caught in the fallout. It was a liability I chose to eliminate. Besides, I heard your life there was less than ideal. You're better off without them. If you'll have it, the sovereign house can be your home. Thump, thump. I could hear my own heart beating faster. Damn it, Queen. When you say things like that, it's hard not to fall for you. Her grip on my fingers tightened. She looked at me, her throat moving as she swallowed. Caleb, tonight, may I attend to you in your chambers? I was fully prepared for another all-night session of filling her pens. But that's not what she meant. The candlelight flickered, and I found myself clutching the front of her shirt. Is it too late to back out? Will she think I'm a coward? Pay attention, Prince Consort. As it turns out, Queen Catherine's sexual orientation was perfectly normal. Very normal. And, as it also turns out, we were very compatible. I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. After that night, gifts poured into my chambers. Jewels, designer clothes, priceless art. Anything she owned, she sent a copy to me. It all came with a royal decree, naming me King Consort. Ms. Wallace was beaming. Congratulations, Your Majesty. The term still felt strange. The coronation is set for the 15th of next month. The Queen said she wants to hold a ceremony so grand you'll remember it for the rest of your life. She was right. It was unforgettable, because on the day of the ceremony, the regent had me kidnapped. I was bound and thrown onto the floor of the Serene Wing. The regent stared down at me. I thought you were a clever one. I had such high hopes for you, and you dare to play me for a fool. I had to stall for time. Sooner or later, an attendant would realize I was missing and tell Catherine. I put on my most pathetic face. You've got it all wrong. I cried. I've been poisoning that damn queen every day, but nothing happens. Sir, are you sure the poison you gave me wasn't expired? Do you take me for an idiot like yourself? Just then, an attendant rushed in. Your Grace, the Queen is approaching with the sovereign guard. Gag him, the regent ordered. Throw him in the old well out back. The well was dry and shallow, but the fall still sent pain shooting through every inch of my body. You old bastard, you've really done it now. I can't fight you. I can't escape you. So I'm just going to curse you to get older and wrinklier with every passing day. As I was silently raining curses upon him, I heard Catherine's voice from above. Regent, where's my king consort? I've sent him away, to a place you'll never find. If you sign a decree today, abdicating your authority and naming me acting ruler due to poor health, I can guarantee his safety. Otherwise, the only place you'll see him again is in the afterlife. You've gone to great lengths for this throne, haven't you? Catherine's voice was dangerously calm. Conspiring with the Duchess, spreading rumors about me, ordering General White to delay my return to the capital so you could kidnap my husband. With every word she spoke, I could hear the sound of swords being drawn. What are you doing? The regent yelled. If you touch me, Caleb dies. Don't worry, Regent, Catherine said. I will find my Caleb. Thump. It was a wet, heavy sound like a blade sinking into flesh and being pulled free. I lay at the bottom of the well, my hope draining away. You idiot queen, you killed him. How are you going to find me now? The next moment, the light from above was blocked. Catherine stood at the edge of the well, a silhouette against the sky, just as she had when we first met. But this time, her eyes were soft, her lips curved into a gentle smile. "Caleb," she said, "I found you." Catherine killed the regent and announced he'd been murdered by the traitorous General White. That's right. My former mother had secretly sided with the regent. Her entire family line was executed for treason, along with the regent's other co-conspirators. Because Catherine had already severed my ties to the family, I was spared. Amidst Catherine's kisses, I became the first king consort in Colombian history to be crowned at my own wedding. The next auspicious date was 4 months away. She didn't want to wait. I thought my life as a pampered layabout could finally begin. But the night before his execution, Ethan escaped. He disguised himself as an attendant and slipped into my chambers. Before I could call for the guards, he spoke. "I know a secret about the queen. Don't you want to hear it, little brother? She doesn't love you. She's just using you." Oh, I know. I wasn't an idiot. From a moment she'd used the assassination attempt at the state dinner to elevate my status, I knew I was bait to lure out the regent. Catherine needed to present a weakness, a target to make the regent overplay his hand so she could eliminate him. I knew I wasn't special enough for the Queen of Colombia to fall for me. Her affection was too much, too sudden. It wasn't the behavior of a ruler who had fought and killed for her throne. But I wasn't angry, because I was using her too. I figured out that Catherine could hear my thoughts. The interrogation on the first day, her dodging my touch the first night. There were too many coincidences. How else could she react so perfectly to every unspoken thought I had? So, at the state dinner, I deliberately thought about my miserable past, testing to see if she would help me escape the White family. I pretended to be oblivious, play my part. Our so-called romance was just a mutually beneficial arrangement. Intruder, an attendant coming to light the lamps, saw Ethan and screamed for the guards. The shadows on the floor shifted as figures converged outside. Then, one shadow resolved into a familiar form. Catherine stood in the doorway. Her face was hidden in the darkness of the night, but I could see her hands, clenched into tight fists at her sides. She must have heard everything. I cleared my throat. "Your Majesty heard what I was just thinking, didn't you?" "Yes." "So are you going to kill me?" "How could I ever kill you?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "My angel." The question stunned me. That name, it was from a lifetime ago. When I was 6, my mother took Ethan and me to the sovereign house for the late Queen's birthday celebration. Ethan deliberately ruined my clothes, hoping I'd make a scene and incur the royal wrath. Too ashamed to go inside, I hid in the gardens. There I found a little girl, small and dirty, hiding in the bushes. All I could see were her wide, tear-stained eyes, watching the platters of food being carried into the hall. She looked like a sad little bunny. I couldn't resist. I snuck up behind her and startled her. Who are you?" she stammered. "Me? I'm an angel from heaven." The little girl's eyes went wide with wonder. "An angel? I'm hungry. Can you make food appear?" I hesitated. I had a pastry in my pocket that I'd swiped from the car, but the servants at home never gave me enough to eat. I was saving it. Sensing my reluctance, she quickly changed her tune. "Actually, I'm not that hungry. It's just, I've never seen an angel before. You're very handsome." She gave me a pure, innocent smile, which was immediately ruined by a loud growl from her stomach. A blush crept up her cheeks. "Sorry, angel. My stomach has been upset lately." Little liar. She was starving. I knew that sound all too well. "Close your eyes," I said. She did. I pulled the handkerchief from my pocket. The pastry inside was a little squashed. I was going to give her the smallest piece, but then I looked at her thin, pale face. I picked out the biggest piece and placed it in her small hand. "I hope you're not hungry the next time we meet." "Thank you, angel." I couldn't be blamed for not recognizing Catherine. The difference between now and then was staggering. One a malnourished waif, the other a radiant, powerful queen. Who could believe they were the same person? Catherine walked into the room and knelt by my bed, her thumb gently stroking the mole on my earlobe. That day, my angel gave me a pastry that got me through the rest of the summer. "I never knew your name. All I remembered was the tiny scarlet mole on your ear." Her hand covered mine. "As va su arm. When I first saw you at the selection, for some reason, I could hear your thoughts. My plan was to make you my consort, just to use you against the regent. Since I could hear your thoughts, I knew I could control you if you betrayed me. But then I saw the mole on your ear, and I changed my plan. I tried to keep you safe, to make sure you were never truly in harm's way. I never meant to fall so hard. Caleb, I love you, she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. Whether we were using each other or not, we're even now. If you want your freedom, I'll give it to you. Her voice dropped even lower. I told you if you want it, the sovereign house is your home. If you don't, you can leave at any time. I'll make sure you have whatever you need. She rested her head in my lap, pressing her warm cheek against my palm. You know, I lost my father when I was very young. No one ever taught me how to love someone. I'm sorry. Playing the victim is a cheap trick. I know, she whispered, but I'm trying to get you to stay. She looked up at me, blinking. She was already beautiful, but this look of manufactured innocence was devastatingly alluring. I'll admit it, I'm a sucker for a pretty face. Fine, I said, but I want a royal decree. If you ever betray me, or if I ever get tired of you, I can leave, no questions asked. As if afraid I'd change my mind, Catherine scrambled to the desk and wrote out the decree. She stamped it with the Great Seal of Columbia and handed both the document and the seal to me. Next time you want a decree, Caleb, you can just write it yourself. I held the official decree in one hand and the seal of the nation in the other, my head spinning. Aren't you afraid I'll use this to take over the throne? Then I'll be your king consort. Catherine wrapped her arms around me, resting her chin on my shoulder. The heavens took pity on me. They gave me the gift of hearing your thoughts, so even on the throne, I would never feel alone. A person should know when they're lucky, and I already have the best thing in the world. You. I turned my head and kissed her on the forehead. Thank you, Catherine, for giving a stranger in a strange land a place to call home.